Hi guys, in this video what I want to do is I want to show you the sign up process, and then I want to show you how to actually redeem your code and give you a quick walkthrough the dashboard. Now there's a lot in there, so we'll be touching just on the basics in this video, and then we'll be going more in depth to the other options over the coming days. So the first thing you do is you need to sign up. Now when you go to sign up, it's going to ask you for a number of things. It's going to ask you for your email address, and then it's also going to ask you for your mobile number. So I'm just going to fill in the details there. I'm going to pause the video. Once I actually sign up, I'm going to get an OTP sent to my email. OTP is a one-time password. So let me just go to my email. Again, I'll pause the video and then I will log in and I'll set up my password. I've just signed up, I've just logged in now. The first thing you want to do is redeem your code if you have a code. So you go into redeem code and you enter the code in here and you click redeem code, and that will give you access to the level that you have bought. So there's quite a lot in this dashboard. It's quite a simple dashboard, but there's a lot of information here. So the first thing that we want to do is, let me just move myself over here for 1 second. And let's go down to settings and all users. This is where you would add a new user here. So you see that I'm here, Richard. This is my email ID and I'm a super admin. If I wanted to edit that, I could click on edit and I could change the admin role here. If I wanted to add a new user, I would add a new user in here with all of the contact information, and I would assign them a manager, and I could assign a territory, etc. We're going to get into all of that just in a little while. So from here, let's go down and let's choose company settings. So what I can actually do is I can enter a company name. So I'm going to call this English Trainer Limited, because I want to talk to you and give you a scenario here. I'm going to say the default group is default. I'm going to select the time zone. So what I can just do here is I can put in Spain and I click done. And then the other important thing to do is to select the currency. So I'm going to select euro and I'll just choose euro here and I click on done, and I could put in my company logo, but I'm just going to say update. Very important that you click on update to make sure that you update everything here. I could go in here to expenses setting, and what this will allow me to do is this will allow me to have categories. So I could call this phone if they had a phone with credit on it. And then I can say who are the approvers here. So I can say Richard is an approver, and if I had anybody else here, I could actually have a second level approver as well. I click on set approvers and that's done. Now if I go to CRM settings, what I can actually do is I can check geofence for leads customers. We'll talk about that later on. And I could add a lead source. So I could say I have walk-in leads. I could say trade fairs, and I can continue on and add these lead source. And that's important when we start talking about leads. And then I have territory master that I can actually add a new territory here. Okay, so I'm just going to call this Barcelona. I click on add, and that is a territory that I've set up. I'll go back to dashboard. This gives me all of my information about visits. So let's talk briefly about a couple of things. My customers. Very, very important that you have customers. And what I can do with my customers is I can add a new customer, which I'll do. And I'm going to call this Peter Smith. I'm going to give him a reference number of 001. I'm going to put the contact person as John Smith. I could put in a mobile number. I can put in the address here. And then this is where it's really important. Where did the person come from? So if this was from a trade fair, I would put in trade fair. The customer stage is just an inquiry at this point. And I'm going to add tags. Now tags allow me to search for customers easier as my database grows. So I'm going to put potential. I'm going to put English, etc. Okay, select the territory. Here I would put Barcelona. I could put in the website. I could put in the card as well. Now, if I want to make this visible to all my team members, all my sales reps, I can put that in. Now, let me just go back up here and let me just fill in the mobile number and the telephone number. And then I would put in my email address as well. Okay, and contact person designation. Owner. Okay, so I go down here and I could put in primary, secondary sales information, a customer type. This is built for sort of physical goods, but we could just leave it as customer type here, and I can click on done. and that now adds Peter Smith. Now, let's say I'm using this on the desktop. I can actually add a call when I call Peter Smith. So I put add a call. I put him that he's a warm lead, and I say he is interested in English classes for his company. Everything is recorded here, and I can go in and I can view these things. So I could add an appointment here, and I could have a meeting with him. Okay, I can add an opportunity. Okay, so I can say the opportunity name here is 10 hours of classes a week. The value of this is going to be 200 euros a week. And again, I could add tags. I'm just going to add that. And then I could add a quick task. So next action point, I would say make a phone call, and then I can put in a date here. So I click on add, and that is done. I have all of the information here, okay, who it's assigned to, etc. This is where it comes into deals and pipelines. So I have here Peter Smith. He wants 10 hours of class a week. I've contacted him. Now, I've qualified him and said that he could be somebody that will be very interested because I've had a second phone call. So I can drag him over to here. And what you will see is the cost here keeps moving up. So what you will see here is in each stage, my value is added up here. So I'm going to say that Peter Smith now, I've made a proposal. The proposal made is 200. I have a potential earnings here of 299. So this will keep updating as I go through the different stages. So I'm just going to drag Peter Smith over here, and then it should update for me in a little while. Now, if I've actually, if I've lost a client, I could bring him here, and then it tells me the loss here as well. Okay, so you see that just took a second to update. So I've won 200, but I've lost 398. But at any point here, you can easily see where your clients are in your actual pipeline. So you'll be able to generate reports. You'll know, well, I have a potential earning of 100 here. You'll see all the proposals that you've made. You'll see everything that you've won and everything that you've lost. So this in itself is really powerful. Now, you can always add new opportunities to here, and you can put in a customer here. You can put John Smith. You can have a lot of different opportunities for the same customer. And of course, you can put in tags. All we're looking at here is really just with the customers. If I go into my tasks, I can actually add a new task to different people. So I can assign a task to me, and I can say, follow up with John. Important to follow up with John regarding XYZ. So I select a date, I select a time, and then I click on add, and that task comes up here. Now, I can archive this task, I can accept the task, I can view the task coverage, okay? So not accepted. So if I accept the task, I've accepted it. If I go to view task, it says I've accepted it and how much of it is complete. So as I go through the task, then it will know whether I've actually completed or not. So if I click on this, I can put in my comments, all is going well. And then that is all tracked for me. So when you think about this, if you're working with many customers and you have 1 or 2 sales reps, you can keep everything tracked and you can see everything that's actually happening with your actual sales process. In later videos, we'll look at rosters, we'll look at attendance, my expenses, the forms, my orders, the billings, etc. So you can get an idea of how this is very powerful and how this will actually work. And one of the great things about this software is, if I just move myself over to here, so you have a lot of help options here. So you can just go into general, you can go into FAQ, and it will give you a lot of information here. In the next videos, we'll delve into different areas.